So anyway, I'll just give you a bit of update. I was in India, right? I was at that festival in Rishikesh. Um, it was a kirtan festival, and I would meet people as they were queuing up, waiting to get prasadam, and I would talk and I would tell them, if you want to hear more about Hare Krishna, come and see me tomorrow. So one guy, his name was Michael. He's actually British. He lived on an island off the coast of Scotland most of his life. And so he became very interested. So he went back to Holland, where he lives, and he's totally into it now. He's chanting japa. He came to see me when I went to London a few weeks ago, and then he's going to London Rath Yatra. He's going to seminars. And then I had met another woman um, in Rishikesh in India. I met a couple of other women actually. This other lady, she just wrote to me, and she's so happy. This is what she says. Dearest Addie, I was going to write to you. Michael and I talked about you. We miss you. It's been an amazing journey ever since Rishikesh. You connecting me with Michael and him connecting me with other people of the Hare Krishna community has led to so many blessings and meeting people. Just wow. Unbelievably blessed. I've attended so many kirtans. I've made a lot of amazing devotee friends and special lectures. Swami Satchidananda was here for Kirtan Mela Amsterdam, and then some lectures, and now Keshava Swami is here as well. It has been so beautiful and amazing. Also, I was in London for work and visited the Manor and ISKCON temple in Soho, both amazing. And also, as of today, I upgraded to doing 10 rounds of japa. Lots of gratitude to you and Krishna. I think of you often and thanks for everything. Blessing and much love from Amsterdam. So then I said, please come to London Rath Yatra, 20th of July. I will be in Europe. Maybe I'll visit Amsterdam. Yes, thanks to Radhi. Yes, I've heard of it. It will be amazing. So she wants to come to London Rath Yatra now. So that's pretty
That's
good.
amazing. What an amazing message.
And this guy, Michael, he's a potential leader. He's really a smart guy. He's got a PhD. He's married. His wife's not into it so much, but she's coming along a little bit. And then I met this guy a few weeks ago at LSU, Louisiana State University. I had a book table there, and we had an evening program. Generally, it wasn't that great for distributing books. It was okay, but it was the end of the semester, and so many book distributors had already been there throughout the year, so it wasn't so good. But I met one guy. He came to the evening program. His name is Charlie, and he liked it a lot. So now he's actually coming to stay at the ashram here in Alachua, because now we have a men's ashram here. He's only 19, but he's a pretty good, smart kid. And I spoke to his father. He was a Christian. His father was worried where he was going. Don't go somewhere and come back chanting Hare Krishna. He didn't know it was a Hare Krishna place. But I spoke to him, and he was super nice. And, I could tell he was a nice guy. And we talked about simple living and how the modern world is such a mess and this and that. So he's got his father's blessings to go there as well. That's good. But
That's
I met so many nice people in Russia, and very generous, nice people there, at least the devotees. Anyway, everything's good.
all right.
So,
Glad to
yeah,
have you back.
well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know how long for, but we'll see. And then they've got a new temple president in Miami.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
some other Shanta Maharaj stepped down.
Wow.
They have another devotee called Govinda Priya. I know him actually. He lived in Alachua. He's a nice guy. He's actually Bolivian, South American. And he used to live in Miami before he moved to Alachua. And his son runs a charter school here. He's got three sons. They're all pretty good.
Maharaj, who is the new temple president in Miami?
His name is Govinda Priya.
Govinda Priya.
He's from Bolivia. He's South American. But he's mild, he's a mellow guy. So and the new president is giving class today. No, not the new president, Panchagoda Prabhu. Panchagoda is the president in ISKCON Vrindavan. He used to be the president in Miami, as a matter of fact, a long time ago. But now he's the president of Vrindavan. He's a good man. So that's exciting. Means I can go there sometimes. Not while it's summer, but it's hot down there.
Glad that has improved.
Yeah. Mind you, it's hot everywhere. Oh, I mean, it's hot in Alachua now.
Yeah.
You know what it's like.
Yeah. It's
He downs in Alachua. He came for Govinda's wedding.
Yeah.
Where are you right now?
I'm at Shruti's.
Oh, I see.
I've been doing some work.
Guru Maharaj,
Yeah.
before we start reading, I have a small question. I have seen the announcement, the court case about the Ritwik Bangalore case.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but my question is in Miami area, or at least in Florida, we don't have Ritwik temples, right? Everything is ISKCON Miami, ISKCON Alachua. There is nothing else, right? Ritwik. Okay.
I don't think there are any Ritwik temples in America.
Okay.
You don't know what Ritwik is, Srihari. It's a long explanation. I don't know if it's worth talking about it right now, but I'll tell you very, very briefly. When Prabhupada passed away, just before he passed away, he wrote a letter saying, one letter was saying that some devotees could initiate on my behalf, which means that they would only initiate on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was still the guru. And so then that was the case until right before Prabhupada passed away. Then he named 11 gurus, and he said that they would be gurus in their own right. In other words, if they initiated people, they would be their disciples, not Prabhupada's disciples. So these Ritwik people, they got motivated, especially after the 11 gurus had so many problems. The 11 original gurus, most of them fell down and got into Maya. So they kind of propagated their theory of Ritvikism. And it was quite popular with some devotees who weren't very cooperative, you could say. And in India, there's one temple. They call it ISKCON, but it's actually a Ritvik temple. In other words, they don't think that any of Prabhupada's disciples are qualified to have disciples. But this is completely against the whole Vaishnav philosophy that you have to have a living guru. And Prabhupada said the law of disciplic succession, it's a law, you can't change the law. So basically these Ritwik people in India, they've done very well because they established a temple in a place called Bangalore, which is a big high-tech city in India. And they've got this huge temple. They call it ISKCON. It's not actually ISKCON. So there was a court case about it. It's been going on for 25 years, this court, and it's cost a lot of money. It's a ridiculous thing. They spent millions of dollars. But unfortunately, these Ritwik people, they won the court case. And so they have offered to be a part of ISKCON if they can, because they have about 30 temples. ISKCON in India has 600 temples. So they're comparatively small. But, they offered to be a part of the main ISKCON if the GBC allows them to keep their Ritvik philosophy. I don't know what the GBC has said. I would imagine they'll say, forget it, because we don't want, what's it called, Upper Sampradaya or Upper Siddhanta. That means against Vaishnava principles, entering to ISKCON, even if they want to make a compromise. We don't want to compromise because it's not, it's not the philosophy of Vaishnavism going back thousands of years. So they don't, as far as I know, have any temples in America. If they do, they're very small and inconsequential. In India, they happen to have a very dynamic leader, Madhu Pandit. But when he dies, who knows what will happen, because he's the main man. The beauty of ISKCON is that, it's not dependent on one person. It's dependent on a body of people that work together cooperatively to try to spread Krishna consciousness. So anyway, what was your question about it?
I have a question.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, Florida, there is a temple that follows Prabhupada, but they're separate from our group.
Yeah, well,
you know
that's
anything about them?
Yeah, I know a lot about them. I know a lot about them. That's called the Gaudiya Math. The Gaudiya Math is the original society started by Srila Prabhupada's guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And those people, they split off from ISKCON because they accepted Narayan Maharaj really as their main teacher instead of Prabhupada. Well, they say they have Prabhupada as well. If you go to any of their temples, or even that temple you're talking about in Miami, they have a temple down there, and it's very successful. So they have, they make devotees, and this disciple of Prabhupada, she changed her name, which alone is kind of offensive to change the name your guru gives you. But she changed her name from Jadharani, that means the queen of the Yadus, Jadharani, to Shamarani, because this Narayan Maharaj gave Shamarani because it's a more kind of intimate name, because Sham is a more intimate kind of just name than Yadharani. So she changed her name, but she's quite successful. She's a clever person. She's a really good artist. She's probably the best artist ISKCON ever had, I'd say.
Yeah, really.
Oh, she's really good. And they have a really beautiful temple in, where is that?
It's in Hollywood.
In Hollywood, yeah. And they pay a lot of money. They pay $7,000 a month rent. And, they're doing well. They have kirtan nights and they have a lot of people going.
Yes, I've been to one.
Huh?
I've been to one a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah, they're successful.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, they're not really following what Prabhupada wanted.
Right. Although they do distribute Prabhupada's books.
Yeah, they do. But they also distribute Narayan Maharaj's books.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've read a couple of his books. He's a scholar. He's definitely a scholar. But he hasn't done what Prabhupada did. What Prabhupada did is unique. Prabhupada has changed India, because I was listening to one prominent disciple of Radhanath Swami, Gauranga Prabhu. He was just here in Alatra. He was giving class, and he was saying how, because Prabhupada, he really upped the standard. He really elevated the standard of temple worship and of, Vaishnavism and Hindu culture, whatever you want to call it, Vedic culture in India. It's having a huge effect because all the temples that are being built by the followers of ISKCON, like I just went to the one, I think I showed you pictures, maybe I didn't, but I went to one in Delhi because they have about 15 custom-built temples in Delhi. And the one I went to is called Rohini. It's a spectacular temple. And you see, to see these beautiful new temples springing up all under the guidance of ISKCON is very impressive. And it's attracting the best people. All the best young people are becoming most, educated young people in India coming to ISKCON. So, yeah, I mean, you can't compare what she's doing in Miami with anything that's going on in India. But what I was saying was that India, Prabhupada is having a huge effect on India because even the Prime Minister offered puja to Prabhupada. But aside from that, they're actually becoming recognized as the kind of standard for temples in India. And there's 2 million temples in India. Handbooks on, how to practice Krishna consciousness or how the temple should be run and all that. They're having a huge influence on the temples over there because they're building all these temples and motives right into it. And their temple, the ISKCON temples are the most vibrant temples. And they have these most amazing restaurants. Because that was Prabhupada's strategy as well to entice people with the food. It's part of our philosophy to eat nice prasadam. Like, we were down at the Sadhu Sangha retreat. They cooked very nice prasadam. It was all amazing. Sadhu Sangha retreat was really fantastic. Wasn't it? He was in bliss.
It was amazing, truly.
He was in bliss. And then he came up here and we had a kirtan night. Well, you missed the second one, but the first one was really good. The classes, he came to Shiva. Did you come to Shiva Ramsam? Yeah, you came to Shiva Ramsam's class.
Yes, I did. In Deland.
Yeah. But he was here. He left a couple of days ago. He came to my place. Anyway, so it's all amazing. It's all happening. Anyone know how to transfer a message from WhatsApp to email?
Transfer in what sense, Guru Maharaj? Like copy the message and paste it into email?
Yeah, how would I do that?
So on your phone, if you go to the message and you press on the message and hold for a second, it should give you some options. A little list should pop up and give you some options, one of which says copy.
It doesn't say copy.
So if you're in the chat and you hold on the bubble that contains the message in WhatsApp.
Are you coming to the temple today?
I'm not coming to the temple today.
It's got a kind of a square, a double square thing. Is that copy?
Yeah, copy. Yeah. The double square, the double
Copy.
page is copy.
Okay.
And then if you just go to your email, and you press and hold in the text box of the email, you should be able to paste.
Okay. Okay, sorry about this, everyone.
I don't have the ability to do that on my cell phone.
Maybe it's different. I have an iPhone. Maybe with Android, it's slightly
I
different.
have an Android, so
Yeah.
if I do what you just described, it doesn't do it.
It doesn't work. I see.
Okay, so what do I do now?
Now, if you press and hold in the text box, of the email, like where you would type in the email.
Right.
If you press and hold, it should hopefully pop up a little option that says
Oh, yeah,
paste.
yeah. Wow.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Wow, you're clever. Great.
Hare Krishna.
Well done. Okay,
I
so
use iPhone.
should we read for a few minutes?
Sure, Guru Maharaj, as you like. I have the spot saved.
Okay.
It's the Nectar of Devotion.
Nectar of Devotion, we're in chapter 7. I'll pull it up on the screen here. It's a straightforwardness in ordinary dealings and equilibrium in loss and gain.
Okay, you can go ahead and read. I'm just gonna
Sure, Guru Maharaj, yeah.
three of you read a bit. I'll be with you just now.
Okay. There's a statement in the Padma Purana. Persons who are engaged in Krishna consciousness should never be disturbed by some material gain or loss. Even if there is some material loss, one should not be perturbed, but should always think of Krishna within himself. The purport is that every conditioned soul is always absorbed in thinking of materialistic activities. He has to free himself from such thoughts and transfer himself completely to Krishna consciousness. As we have already explained, the basic principle of Krishna consciousness is to always think of Krishna. One should not be disturbed in material loss, but rather should concentrate his mind upon the lotus feet of the Lord. A devotee should not be subjected to lamentation or illusion. There is the following statement in the Padma Purana. Within the heart of a person who is overpowered by lamentation or anger, there is no possibility of Krishna's being manifested. The demigods. One should not neglect to offer due respect to the demigods. One may not be a devotee of demigods, but that does not mean that he should be disrespectful to them. For example, a Vaishnava is not a devotee of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, but he is duty-bound to offer all respects to such highly positioned demigods. According to Vaishnava philosophy, one should offer respect even to an ant. So then what is there to speak of such exalted persons as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma? In the Padma Purana, it is said, Krishna, or Hari, is the master of all demigods, and therefore he is always worshipable. But this does not mean that one should not offer respect to the demigods. This is the last section of the chapter, not giving pain to any living entity. This is the statement of Mahabharata. A person who does not disturb or cause painful action in the mind of any living entity, who treats everyone just like a loving father does his children, whose heart is so pure, certainly very soon becomes favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In so-called civilized society, there is sometimes agitation against cruelty to animals, but at the same time, regular slaughterhouses are always maintained. A Vaishnava is not like that. A Vaishnava can never support animal slaughter or even give pain to any living entity. Guru Maharaj, this makes me think of Vaishnava etiquette and how the impact of it really creates such a nice experience for those that are on the receiving end of a devotee's proper behavior, whether it's another devotee or any other living being. And I remember this. I remember hearing this it's also in Bhagavad Gita, I believe, speaking about how Krishna is pleased by a person's good behavior. And I understand that in reference to proper Vaishnava etiquette. And I was always fascinated that just simply behaving properly is so pleasing to Krishna.
Yeah. That's the quality of a Brahmin. Always proper behavior. There's that verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam about Preeti Maharaj is saying, whoever takes the dust of the feet of the Brahmins, whose only wealth is their good behavior, gets all the blessings of the world. So good behavior is very, to never, let yourself down.
Yeah.
Good point.
Chapter 8. Karunamrita, do you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Offenses to be avoided. In the supplementary Vedic literature, there is the following list of 32 offenses in the matter of serving the Lord. One should not enter the temple of the deity in a car or palanquin, or with shoes on the feet. 2. One should not fail to observe the various festivals for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Janmashtami and Rath Yatra. 3. One should not avoid bowing down before the deity. 4. One should not enter the temple to worship the Lord without having washed one's hands and feet after eating. 5. One should not enter the temple in a contaminated state. According to Vedic scripture, if someone dies in the family, the whole family becomes contaminated for some time according to its status. For example, if the family is Brahmin, their contamination period is 12 days. For the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, it is 15 days. And for Sudra, 30 days. One should not bow down on one hand. One should not circumambulate in front of Sri Krishna. The process of circumambulating the temple is that one should begin circumambulating from the deity's right hand side of the temple and come around. Such circumambulation should be performed outside the temple structure at least 3 times daily. One should not spread his legs before the deity. One should not sit before the deity holding the ankles, elbows, or knees with one's hand. One should not lie down before the deity of Krishna. One should not accept prasad before the deity. One should never speak a lie before the deity. One should not talk very loudly before the deity. One should not talk with others before the deity. One should not cry or howl before the deity. One should not quarrel or fight before the deity. One should not chastise anyone before the deity. One should not be charitable to beggars before the deity. One should not speak very harshly to others before the deity. One should not wear a fur blanket before the deity. One should not eulogize or praise anyone else before the deity. One should not speak any ill names before the deity. One should not pass air before the deity. One should not fail to worship the deity according to one's means. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the Lord is satisfied if some devotee offers him even a leaf or a little water. This formula prescribed by the Lord is universally applicable even for the poorest man. But that does not mean that one who has sufficient means to worship the Lord very nicely should also adopt this method and try to satisfy the Lord simply by offering water and a leaf. If he has sufficient means, he should offer nice decoration, nice flowers, and nice foodstuff, and observe all ceremonies. It is not that one should try to satisfy the Supreme Lord with a little water and a leaf, and for himself spend all his money in sense gratification. One should not eat anything that is not offered first to Krishna. One should not fail to offer fresh fruit and grains to Krishna according to the season. After food has been cooked, no one should be offered any foodstuff unless it is first offered to the deity. One should not sit with his back towards the deity. One should not offer obeisances silently to the spiritual master, or in other words, one should recite aloud the prayers to the spiritual master while offering obeisances. One should not fail to offer some praise in the presence of the spiritual master. One should not praise himself before the spiritual master. One should not deride the demigods before the deity. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Agree.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I ask it now before I forget?
Go ahead.
Is that a yes?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so in the Alakshua temple, the deities are on opposite sides of the room.
Right.
So how do you sit? How do you not sit with your back towards the deity? And if not, if it's okay, which side is the deity on? We're talking about Prabhupada and Krishna.
Well, you kind of sit with you kind of try not to have your back to Prabhupada. I mean, it's difficult. It's not ideal. But it's not anything to worry about really too much.
I'm just curious.
I mean, if you intentionally, one should be conscious of not having your back to the deity, but when we have Guru Puja, we will have a back to the deity. But I wouldn't worry about it. It's not a big thing.
Okay. Thank you. I'll continue. I'll read.
All right.
This is a list of 32 offenses. Because there are a number of offenses which are mentioned in the Varatha Purana. They are as follows. One should not touch the deity in a dark room. One should not fail to strictly follow the rules and regulations of worshiping the deity. One should not enter the temple of the deity without first making some sound. One should not offer any foodstuffs to the deity that has been seen by dogs or other lower animals. One should not break silence while worshiping. One should not pass urine or evacuate when engaged in worshiping. One should not offer incense without offering some flower. Useless flowers without a fragrance should not be offered. One should not fail to wash his teeth very carefully every day. One should not enter the temple directly after sexual intercourse. One should not enter the temple after touching a woman during her menstrual period. One should not enter the temple after touching a dead body. One should not enter the temple wearing garments of red or blue color or garments that are unwashed. One should not enter the temple after seeing a dead body. 15. One should not pass air within the temple. One should not be angry within the temple. One should not enter the temple after visiting a crematorium. 18. One should not belch before the deity. So until one has fully digested his food, he should not enter the temple. One should not smoke marijuana or ganja. 20. One should not take opium or similar intoxicants. One should not enter the deity room or touch the body of the deity after having smeared oil over his body. One should not show disrespect to a scripture teaching about the supremacy of the Lord. 23. One should not introduce any opposing scripture. One should not chew betel before the deity. 25. One should not offer a flower that was kept in an unclean pot. 26. One should not worship the Lord while sitting on the bare floor. One should not have a sitting place or carpet.
One must have a sitting place or carpet.
Excuse me?
One must have a sitting place or carpet. You said one should not have a sitting place. Anyway, it's okay. You have to sit on a cushion or a mat.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. 27. One should not touch the deity before one has completed taking a bath. 28. One should not decorate his forehead with the 3-line tilak. Tilak. 29. One should not enter the temple without washing his hands and feet.
Other rules are that one should not offer foodstuff which is cooked by a non-Vaishnava. One should not worship the deity before a non-devotee, and one should not engage himself in the worship of the Lord while seeing a non-devotee. One should not worship the deity without first worshiping the demigod Ganapati, who drives away all impediments in the execution of devotional service. Now, we don't really do that. I don't know why. Prabhupada didn't introduce that. Actually, he never really talked about Ganapati. So I can't explain about that. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that Ganapati worships the lotus feet of Lord Nrsingadev, and in that way he has become auspicious for the devotees in clearing out all impediments. Therefore, all devotees should worship Ganapati. The deity should not be bathed in water that has been touched by the nails or fingers. When the devotee is perspiring, he should not engage himself in worshipping the deity. Similarly, there are many other prohibitions. For example, one should not cross or step over the flowers offered to the deities. Nor should one take a vow in the name of God. These are all different kinds of offenses in the matter of executing devotional service, and one should be careful to avoid them.
Raj, I have a question.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have non-devotee friends that come to my house, and there's been occasions where like I'm putting some boga on the offering as they come, and they're present, and it says one should not engage in worship of the Lord while seeing a non-devotee. Does that include offering boga, or is that just puja?
I mean, I would say people might think it's very strange if you're offering boga as
Yes.
well. You probably wouldn't want to do that unless they're very open to Krishna consciousness, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's,
think some of the friends are open, and others may not
yeah.
have any idea.
You have to be careful.
Okay. So probably better not to then. Okay.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
In the Padma Purana, it is stated that even a person whose life is completely sinful will be completely protected by the Lord if he simply surrenders unto him. So it is accepted that one who surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes free from all sinful reactions. And even when a person becomes an offender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he can still be delivered simply by taking shelter of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In other words, the chanting of Hare Krishna is beneficial for eradicating all sins, but if one becomes an offender to the holy name of the Lord, then he has no chance of being delivered. Well, the next 10 offenses, yeah. Anyway, I guess we can read them. We should all know these 10 offenses very well. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name of the Lord are follows. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for obligation of the holy name of the Lord, that's the worst offense. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of God and Krishna. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali Kali or Durga and it's the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Okay, you read Srinam.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. It should not be taken that because by chanting the holy name of the Lord one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reaction, one may continue to act sinfully, and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnav must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
Hare Krishna.
Any more questions? Anyway, So I'll be staying in Florida for the next months probably, because my son is going to India with his family. Terrible time to go, but his wife has a son over there from a previous something, whatever relationship. So she's trying to get him to come to America. So, they all have to go. And so I can't really go anywhere for a month, which is very trying. I hate being stuck here, but I don't have any choice at this point. So for a month I'll be here, and so should be able to have the classes every week. Then I'm hoping to go somewhere else, Europe or something. Okay,
Well, we're glad that we have your association, Guru Maharaj.
that's kind of you. Thanks so much.
So we have class every Sunday, right, Guru Maharaj, for the month?
Yeah, at least for the next month. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So I guess we'll finish here. Unless you have any more questions. All right. Okay, well, I'll see you soon. Sridham, you're going to New York tomorrow, right? New
Yes,
Jersey.
Guru Maharaj. Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, tomorrow evening I fly out.
Staying with your mother-in-law?
Yes, staying with her, yeah.
Okay. And then you're coming back.
Yes, on the 11th, and we'll be here
Okay.
until the 17th.
Okay.
So just a bit prior to the weekend of Nitai's wedding, and then I think we fly out maybe that following Monday, something.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And you're staying in New Orleans, Kurunamita, for
Yes, Guru Maharaj, for the next 3 weeks, and last week of June I'm going to Florida.
so you're probably a bit excited about the change at the Miami temple, huh?
Yes, I'm a little bit excited, yeah. So
I'm sure a lot of people are really happy about it.
yeah.
He's not a super dynamic person, but he's a nice person. He's a decent guy.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get into Krishna West, because he was into that. But hopefully.
Maharaj, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think about Lake Butler as for devotees?
Lake Butler,
Butler, yes.
to live there, you mean?
In Florida, yes.
It's a bit far away from the temple, Lake Butler.
Well, it's only 15 minutes. I have my eye on a property there.
Okay. Well, I mean, Worthington Springs is closer. If you can find anything, Worthington Springs is actually closer. Lake Butler's a bit far away, honestly speaking. I mean, Lake Butler, Worthington Springs is half the distance and probably the same kind of prices. What property have you seen?
There's a property with a pond, almost 7 acres, and with two kind of beat up trailers, and it was a dairy farm at one point, and it's $160,000. I thought it was kind of inexpensive.
How many acres? 7 acres? Yeah, it's not a bad price. But I don't know. I'd have to look at it, and you have to see the condition of the houses or the trailers.
Oh, they're in poor condition.
Huh?
Poor condition.
Are they livable?
Probably, yes. They have. There's 2 trailers in opposite ends of the property. Each has its own electrical and their own wells and things like that.
Each house has a well?
Yeah.
Maybe. Why you want to move up there?
Well, I would like to be closer to Alachua.
Yeah, it's a good idea. There's nothing closer.
Well, the closer you get to Luxor, the more expensive things
What are
are.
you gonna do with all that land?
What's that?
What are you gonna do with all that land? 7 acres.
I love gardening.
7 acres is a lot of land. Is it all trees or cleared?
No, it's totally pasture.
Wow. Anyway, I mean, I could look at it.
There's no
I could-
devotees that live up that way.
Huh?
There's no devotees that you know of that live up that way.
Not that far. That's why it's cheaper. And if that was in Alachua, that would be like 250, 300,000. It's a lot more expensive around here.
Worthington Springs. And
Yeah,
there's-
it's a
and
nice
there's
area.
devotees in that area.
What's that?
And there are devotees in that area, Worthington Springs.
I mean, it's fairly close to La Crosse. La Crosse, there's a lot of devotees in La Crosse.
This is true.
That's also more expensive. I don't know why you'd want to get so much land, to be honest. I don't know what you're going to do with it. You're too old for gardening, seriously. I'm too old myself.
Well, I don't know what to say.
Anyway, keep looking. Look in La Crosse.
Keep looking.
I mean, I would say even half an acre is a lot for you to manage.
Thank you, Prabhu.
All right. I can look at it for you. I can go and look at that place if you want. All right. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much for class.
Okay. Hare Bo.
See you soon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Too much gardening, Prabhu.
Please.
Yeah,
Hey, theoretically, it's a great idea.
sure, yeah. I mean, it sounds nice. Absolutely. I mean, I am curious. Yeah, I wonder what the land is like, having been a former dairy farm. In terms of just, yeah, if the land has been stripped, sort of quality of the soil from that, or if it's been improved even because of all the cows. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I would think that it would be improved.
Yeah, that's an interesting property for sure.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, good luck with your search. I hope you find something enjoyable.
Worthington Springs, here I come.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
See you next week.